Hello, YouTube. How's everybody doing? 257. Let's see what the market's doing. Let's try to remember to share the darn screen. This will make 2 or 3 times in a row that I've actually remembered to share it. All right, so let's check out this market. Where is the darn market? You got to be kidding me. Did I shut the freaking... Oh, it's right here. What am I talking about? All right, well, look at this. I guess Trump said something about tariffs again, and it sold off into the end of the day. Now we're right into the Trump gap from November 6th. It goes right from 491 to 499. The other day, 499 served as support, and it bounced out of there, and it went back up here to this area between 508 and 512 or so. That the bears have just dominated this area lately, and sure enough, they sold the market off. All right, so that's that. We'll look at the yield max stuff in a second. Let's check the market. You guys have any questions, you can ask them to me. I gave a trade this morning. This morning I gave out a good trade. It was a bearish trade because I figured it would falter here. This morning we opened up and we weren't just going straight up, so I figured I bet we falter. Anyway, there's the SPY, and let's check out Russell. Let's look at that. Boy, Russell really looks bad. Look at that. All right, so let's see how the trades did that I showed you this morning. I also did a couple of earnings trades ideas today. Bearish trade for this week. It's up $295. If you put that on, you probably ought to take it off and roll it out. I don't have time to talk about it right now, but if you still have it on in them, or you can leave it on if you think we're going lower, but I'd take it off and roll it. Anyway, it's up to you guys. All right, so let's see what else we have going on. I also showed a trade, a bearish shot at earnings on Target. Target has earnings tomorrow morning, so if you didn't watch my show and you haven't already got this, you won't be able to put this on, so don't worry about it. But it's a great trade. If you like these kinds of trades, we can work on some more. It's $100 credit on about $500 worth of risk, and it's a bearish shot at Target earnings. And it's all right if Target hits earnings also, just as long as Target's not up more than about 3%. That's the thing there. So anyway, that's a bearish trade on Target that I recommended. We'll see how that works out. And then we have a bullish one on the shoe company. I couldn't really make this one work out that well. Bullish shot at earnings. I couldn't do it wasn't liquid enough to do the way I like to do it. So I did just a broken wing butterfly. We're just taking a shot that it hits 48 to 50 to 52 or something right around earnings. They have earnings in the morning also. So we have one bullish, one bearish. And then of course we always have a hedge on, and the hedge trade is going to be right down here now. Bearish, no. That was a good one, but that's not it. It said third. Well, there it is. No, it's not that one because there it is. Third roll, bearish hedge, triple Qs. It's down $15 right now. Okay, so it's a hedge on. It doesn't expire till Wednesday, but it needs the market to drop lower than like 488 before it starts making money. But if the market gets to 485 or something, this is worth $500. Market gets to 480, this is worth about $800. And it's good for another 2 days now. It's good for tomorrow and Wednesday, and then it expires. So, and this trade's a free trade. This is just a runner paid for by 2 large winners. So if the market drops, we're going to profit off this one. If the market's stable, and Target is stable, and we're going to hopefully, we won't need to use this hedge, and hopefully the earnings trades will work out. So anyway, all right. If you can always hit me up in Discord if you want me to explain that better, but let's see what else we have. So then this morning I gave out this trade, bearish trade for this week. Boy, that's a good trade. The market's closed now, so, but if it's still up in the morning, I would think about rolling that out. That's a nice trade, because Friday morning I gave you a bullish trade that we took off this morning for $100 winner or something. All right, so it wasn't a big bullish trade, but it caught the little blow up into the end of the day at Friday. All right, so now let's look at what else we can look at. Let's look at this yield. Now, I haven't looked at the GPTY verse all day. Jiminy Criminy, what is that? Is that the GPTY verse? Or no, that's Alti. Okay, well, Alti has cushion down 3%. The average is down 5.2. All right, nice job, Alti. I bet LFGY is really getting slammed. Oh, not as bad. LFGY is down 2%. Their average is down 4. Well, what in the heck, Alti? What is going on? I mean, everything. That's ugly. I mean, that is just ugly. I mean, Reddit's the only thing that's up out of that universe of stocks. Well, at least we're collecting income on them, selling options. I mean, it'd be worse if this was a mutual fund or that just invested in the stocks. It could be a lot worse, right? So I'll look at it. All right, LFGY actually looks better today, but 9 days out of 10, it looks worse than Alti and GPTY. But let's see what GPTY looks like. Now, where is that old GPTY? Where is that? Oh, there we go. Now, GPTY doesn't look great. Down 3%, about the same as the average. Same thing. There's only one stock in the universe that's up, and it's Intel. Intel and Reddit. All right. Well, let's look at the single stock buffer report, the index buffer report. Boy, we had some bad performance on the downside. Look at SPY-T and XDTE. Both of them outperforming on the downside. XVOL didn't look great. Neither does 5E. ZVOL is just getting drilled. Oh my gosh, are you serious, ZVOL? Okay, ZVOL shorts volatility, and so does SVOL, and they're both getting killed because volatility is blowing up today. We didn't look at volatility. Let's go back and look at volatility real quick. Yeah, volatility made a new high. That puts the old hurt to ZVOL and SVOL. Well, let's see, but let's look at volatility of volatility. Oh, yeah, it made even a higher high. So, yeah, things are not, this is not good. But it's not like I'm just saying we've been saying this since last week. That's why I switched my allocation. Look what I did. I feel so good about doing this. I dumped something. I dumped some AMD or AMDY and NVDY and some bullish stuff. And I made 20 or more than 20% of my portfolio this YQQQ, and it was up 1.18 or 1.8, nearly 2%. That's really good, in my opinion. But there's just not a lot of good news. I mean, everything was outperforming on the downside today. I mean, you name it, it outperformed on the downside. Wow. All right. Well, I almost don't even want to check over here the yield max buffer report. This guy probably pretty freaking ugly, and it doesn't look great. Yes, I'm so glad I got out of NVDY and AMD. Why? I mean, NVDY down 8% today. What are you doing? All right. Well, SMCI. Like I say, I don't even know what to say. Okay, I want to go back and I'm going to see what you guys are saying. I guess I have 2 streams started. There we go. Hey, Blackwater, what's up? Yeah, I was surprised about Alti as well. Now, full disclosure, I was sick this weekend and I was lazy this morning. I haven't updated the latest positions in GPTY and LFGY yet. They switched positions. So 1 or 2 of those could have been something they saw last week. But pretty much, though, we're pretty sure that in Alti, 1 or 2 of those might have been something they dumped last week. And they might have something new in that's doing better. But maybe just one. There might be one that's wrong. But most of those are still in there and they're doing terrible. So I'll have the latest information by today. With Alti and LFGY, they don't change that. Or with LFGY and GPTY, those are the stocks. They don't change that often. Alti, it changes pretty often. But I'll check all of them and make sure they're right. But in any event, yeah, they don't look. There's not a lot of outperformance to be had today. Not a lot of outperformance to be had at all. Okay, so that's my basic update. So see what else we want to talk about, if anything. That's just an ugly chart. I mean, anyway, Let's look at this. Although, I mean, it always looks worse right before the bottom's made. Maybe this was the final push. I said that the other day too, and I didn't say it was. I said maybe it was. But maybe it just, it usually needs to make one more lower low, and then the next time it makes a higher low, then that makes a head and shoulders bottom, and then that higher low holds, and so just got to take it one step at a time. But I'm sorry I have so many lines on my chart. I'm sorry about that. And you notice that it didn't start that way. I started with nothing on there and I just wanted to introduce stuff slowly. And I didn't even used to show where gaps are and where bulls and bears were. There's no easy way to make that disappear, I don't think. Let me see here. Maybe I don't want to remove the drawing, so I just want to hide them. Anyway, so the first thing I introduced was Bollinger Bands, and we just had those on for pretty much the first year. And I talked about those extensively, but then I started introducing the idea of gaps, voids and liquidity, and points of control. And we started introducing the ideas of watching volume. You have to watch volume and price together. And so, I think there's probably some people that aren't crazy about this, but so now we have the Bollinger Bands on the screen and this crazy looking thing over here. And this is just a statistical measure. I'll do a video on this explaining what this is, but this just shows you how much volume took place at each price. So it helps me to see the trading ranges, and it helps me see areas of the chart where the market gets stuck and goes sideways. And then it also helps me see areas of the chart where the market might start trending, and Bollinger Bands do as well. Anyway, I'll have some more content on that, but I think the combination between the price of the volume, and the gap information where I put down here where the buyers and sellers are hanging out, the combination of those two things, along with the Bollinger Bands, to me is, I'm not going to introduce anything else. Those are the three I use. This is it. There's nothing else coming. And sometimes I put a trend line on here or something basic. And I use moving averages too, but they're on the Bollinger Bands. That moving average in the middle line of the Bollinger Bands is a 200 period moving average, but it's not 200 days because they're only 30-minute bars. But what I do when I switch to days, I keep everything the same. So so the middle Bollinger Band on this is the 200-day moving average. Well, the 200-day moving average is where pretty much a lot of people say bear markets start. Some people define it as a 15% pullback or a 20% pullback. I think at 10%, yeah, it's 20%. Some people say it's 20%. Some people say it's under the 200 days. Some people say it's both. It's one or the other, But anyway, even by the under the 200-day measure, the 200 days seen right at 568 on the SPY. We closed today at 583. We're up a little bit in the post market, trading 584.79, but you can see in the SPY we still have a little open white space to the bottom of the election night gap. So look at but so did you see Jay's interview with Coach the other day? He was talking about Tesla. This was Thursday, I think. And he said, there's one day it opened or was underneath it, then it rallied, went back above it. That's just at the 200-day, that's your classic buy signal. And if it gets under it, you're wrong. And you can just put your stop loss under the low or whatever. But you have this much. If you're trying to get it to the other Bollinger Band, you have all the way from 300 to 415 worth of reward. Was that 115 points of reward? And given where the 200-day is, you could set your stop. If you bought it at 284, you could set your stop at 264. 20 points risk on the downside versus about 5 times as much reward on the upside. Anyway, a lot of stocks are trying to make a stand at their 200-day. If we get under the 200-day, it's going to be ugly. But Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA tried to make a stand at their 200-day. They went under, tried to make a stand. And, you know, that NVIDIA, you know, NVIDIA looks, of course, great, totally overextended. But, I mean, stocks can stay overextended for a while. But, I mean, this thing's incredible. Look at this breakout that happened at $52 a share, January of 2024. It went from 52 to 150 in a year. You know, one thing good you can say about this is the slope of the 200-day is still moving up. That's a sign of a bullish market. The slope of all the moving averages are moving up. But I mean, the price action isn't looking good. It's looking to me like they've rejected the 200-day, and unless they can take it back, probably have lower prices ahead. NVIDIA may be aiming for this area where there was a lot of volume before. This is a balance area. Yeah, right here. They may want to come down here and get stuck in there. Maybe they'll come right to the edge of there and then find buyers and run the other way. We'll see. There's a gap on the chart right here between 96 and 100 where there hasn't been much volume taking place. There was literally a gap there between 2 days, but then just on the chart in general, there hasn't been a lot of volume at that place. So that's probably that's probably going back, testing what's called testing the breakout. And that's where they're going to test it. We'll see if that holds or if it fails. But yeah, NVIDIA is not real bullish. So let's look at the other single stocks real quick. Well, let's look at Bitcoin. What the heck happened to Bitcoin? My gosh. He named the strategic Bitcoin reserve today and it crashed the market, or I guess maybe the tweets crashed it. I mean, the tweets about the tariffs or the X's about the tariffs post, whatever. I mean, the moving averages are still sloping up, but Bitcoin just made a big time stand at its 200-day moving average. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys use the 200-day moving average? I bet Blackwater does. I know you do. Yeah, heck yeah, volume's important. I know you agreed with me this morning, Blackwater, when you said more pain to come this morning. We were both right. We're both right now. Volume's important, and what else is important that people miss? And I mentioned it this morning, but just in case someone wasn't watching this morning or cares, people say, you know, well, the market goes up when there's more buyers and sellers. Well, there's always the same number of buyers and sellers. The market goes up when the buyers are more aggressive than the sellers. When the buyers are hitting buy at market and the sellers are hitting sell at limit. You know that. So anyway, I know you know that, Blackwater, but lately we've seen people aggressively selling, more or less. We did see some aggressive buying at the end of the day on Friday. That was just people that were short covering, I think, pulling money off the table. But yeah, when you could tell, because there wasn't really much volume with the move on Friday, so it was a fake move. So yeah, it's good to have you here, Blackwater. I appreciate you being here. I didn't publicize this, but I'm probably just going to start doing live in the morning and at the end of the day because I like this. I like talking about options and setting up. I like talking about index option trades. I don't see why people have to mess with the stocks. Are awesome. You can do anything you want with the Qs and the SPY and the IWM, and there's just liquidity all day long. I just love it. Plus, it's just so much less you have to focus on, and you just kind of be a big picture guy. You know, an index can never miss earnings or can never, you know, it. So anyway. Let's see what else is going on though. But I appreciate you being here, Blackwater. Like I said, you're probably the only one because it wasn't pre-publicized, but that's fine. So let's look at, we looked at, this is NVDY. I don't want to look at the high yield funds. Let's look at the actual the actual stocks. All right, here's Amazon. Amazon's still well above its 200-day. But it's also overextended and could be looking to revert back to mean at 180, 190. We'll see. We'll see. But they could also be coming down here to find more buyers and it could take off. Tesla, we've already looked at. GameStop. Is GameStop back in play? I've heard something about GameStop this weekend. We can do some GameStop content. Put on some 3-leg risk reversals in there and take some cheap shots at I guess we should have done that back in October when it went from 21 to 32, but All right, so that's GameStop. What else do we got? USO. What's oil doing? Look at how different oil trades compare. Look at the volume on oil. How it's more, a perfect bell curve, or not really perfect because it has two high volume nodes, but it somewhat of a more typical bell curve, indicating to me more of a sideways market, at least in this time frame we're looking at, which is daily time frame. But I don't know if any of you guys use Trading View, but this Lux Algo liquidity sediment profile, auto anchored fixed range, this is really good. Get with me in Discord if you use it. I'll tell you what my settings are. You can tell me what your settings are, but this really helps you see inside the market. But yeah, looks like oil got too low and reverted to mean. Then it got too high, reverted to mean. Looks like maybe it's going back for too low again and revert. Look, who knows what it'll do. Anyway, that's oil. What else do we have to talk about? Google. We haven't looked at Google in a while. Boy, Google lost the 200-day. Man. Of course, they lost it back here. There's nothing magic about it. It's a line on a chart. Notice when they lost it back here, the 200-day was still sloping up. And then, so you're kind of getting a bullish sign and a bearish sign. When the 200-day is sloping up at a 45-degree angle, it's a pretty bullish sign. But of course, when the price loses it, it's a bearish sign. But in any event, the Bulls won that contest. Who knows if they'll win this contest? Now, if you look at the 200-day, it's starting to roll over a little bit, and so we'll see how long this lasts. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you go unless there's any more questions. I appreciate you, Blackwater. Index plus income is awesome. Well, that is the thing, though. I will say this for doing covered calls and you can get more income off individual names, but they're also more risky and stuff. I do like to use individual names and sell a put spread or a call spread or maybe both on NVIDIA or something to make help. I mean, yeah, you can always do something. But what I like to do is play directionally on the indexes. More so directionally, sometimes non-directionally too, but anyway. All right, guys. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you, Blackwater. You have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.